My tag is Puncayshun, and I'm known for speedrunning Super Mario 64. And my real name is Devin. I'm from. I was in Florida for like 15 plus years, but I've been in Kentucky for like almost a decade. So, growing up, I like most of that was in Florida. That was like pretty much where I spent my childhood. I think it wasn't like too eventful because like I've lived like a pretty sheltered life because my parents decided to homeschool me and my brother. That was like weird because like there's so many people who aren't homeschooled, so I feel like there's a lot of things that a lot of people like can't really relate to, so it can feel weird in that way. As for what I did, like I basically played like a variety of games. Like I remember playing like Thousand Year Door, like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I would play like N64 games like Paper Mario. I know I played SM64 as a kid, but I don't know if I got all 120 stars myself or I was like sharing a file with my brother. Yeah, for the most part, it was just like I was just like playing a variety of games, and then I got into speedrunning, and then that ruined variety. Like, it's kind of funny. My brother showed me a streamer named Giano who like he's like a really old school runner. I think he ran like I know he ran SM64. I think he also ran like Ocarina of Time and or Majora's Mask, something like that. My brother just showed me his stream, and he was playing Mario at the time, and then I basically just became interested in that way. Like I think shortly after that's when I started playing the game, and then not too long after, like Giano basically quit, and then I discovered Siglemic, and then I guess Siglemic became my biggest inspiration. And like at first it was probably Giano, and then it became Siglemic. Like my first year or like year and a half, I was playing on emulator. The emulator has always been like, I guess there's always been kind of like a taboo or something around it where it's like, you can run on it, but it's not really as like accepted. But yeah, my first like year and a half, I was like mainly doing 70 star all on emulator. I started streaming in I think 2013, and I had a 49 and 70 star already on emulator. And back then, if anyone with a 49 was like basically seen as a big deal. So there's actually like some people who thought it was cheating, and then I switched to N64, and the rest is history pretty much from there. And for quite a while, I don't think I really had like world record and stuff in mind. I think I was just like, I'm just playing and improving, and it's just like kind of whatever. I didn't think too much about it. And then over time, I realized I was getting like to a world record level because like Siglemic was dominant for a long time, and then I was the person who like dethroned him, and unfortunately he quit not too long after, so like we didn't really get to like trade world records or anything back and forth. And when it comes to the emotions around it, I feel like overall I'm not like that emotional of a person compared to like the average person, but I mean I think it's like highlighted, and I'm sure there's like YouTube videos of it where like I got my first world record, and I was just like cursing and saying like fuck yes, and I said that like over and over again.
I fucking did it. I fucking did it.
Back then, it's funny, I didn't curse. I said like darn and heck. Like there's some really old streaming clips from my stream, and I just like didn't curse. So that was like probably like around my first times cursing. So I guess I was emotional when I got that world record in that way. Probably just like slowly picking up like more and more optimizations and like improving and seeing like what I can do, because like I know I can 137 right now. Like in June I had 2 runs that was realistic 137 pace in the tippy. Unfortunately I didn't PB in any of those runs. Probably just like being at like a top level, and then just seeing like how much further I could like potentially push myself, I guess, and possibly like seeing if I can get the world record again. I thought like pretty recently I was experiencing some burnout, like maybe as a combination of like streaming and SM64, because like I don't think my stream like has been doing as good as it used to, at least when it comes to viewership. Sometimes SM64 kind of feels like a drag when I'm playing it. I don't know, sometimes like I just don't play for like a week or two and I get right back into it. Like I think the longest break I've ever taken without playing any SM64 was like 2 months a long time ago, but that's rare. And I knew that pace is coming up. So I think the longest amount of time I didn't play was like around a week, and that was recent. I think it's hard to come up with examples there. Like one thing that comes to mind is like near the end of SSL Reds and how it's a frame perfect Z press when Mario does like a jump dive out of the pawn thing after grabbing the red. And I mean, it's kind of annoying on one hand because it's like frame perfect. So if you don't press Z at the right time, you lose a few seconds. But if you press Z at the frame perfect time, Mario just goes really fast. An earlier part in that star is like also really cool where Mario just like bounces off the wall and you just fly really fast. I mean, that's one star that comes to mind. I think TikTok Clock is really cool. I don't do it yet, but like the movement that some top runners are doing, the faster movement going to the blue coin switch, that's like pretty cool as well. And of course, like Astos is like pretty crazy, but I haven't grinded it out yet. Probably like Tsukishima's cycle because I've put so many hours into it, and to this day, it's like I don't consistently get it in runs. I don't know how much time I've put into practice, like probably 15, 20 plus hours, and you know, I do Dark World a lot in runs, and I still like can't get the cycle consistent. Like I was a little surprised at how hard it would be, but I think out of the recent things I picked up, that's probably been the hardest thing to do consistently. I mean, the main thing that I'm feeling is nerves, and I guess like the best way that you can deal with it is like try to just not overthink everything, which is it's easier said than done. Like I think sometimes I'm overthinking a specific star, and then I do the star, and then I mess up, and hard to say if I messed it up because I was overthinking it. I don't know if you're on. When I'm on pace, I usually minimize my chat. I think a good strat is to like not look at live split at all. Like I think my last PB or like maybe the one before that, I got my last Bowser throw and I had no idea if I PB'd or not. And then I grabbed the star, looked at live split, and I PB'd. So I think those help with nerves, but no one is gonna be like invincible when it comes to that. Like everyone's gonna get nerves, and some people are better at handling it than others. So I guess my answer is just try not to overthink and like potentially I would just try to like minimize distractions. I don't really think so. Like I think I've had many moments like many years ago where I think one thing I said was like there's something wrong with me if I'm still running this in like 2020 or just something like that. Maybe that wasn't the right year. But, you know, here I am, 2023, still running it. Still at a top level. Sometimes it feels weird to say that I'm at top level because I'm 7th, which is like, I think my worst leaderboard placement in 120 stars since I got the world record the first time. But at the top, it's like, the gaps are pretty small. Like if I PB by I think 22 seconds, that would beat Liam's time by 1 second, and I go from 7th to 2nd. It's like, I mean, I guess at this point that's a massive PB, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I guess it's cool that I'm still at like a top level, but I definitely have thoughts where I just think about like potentially moving on. I think every runner is going to have that point because none of us are going to run the game forever. And it's just like, I don't know when that time is going to be for me. Like maybe it could be soon. Maybe it could be like a few more years because it's hard for me to like just quit SM64 because I have like quite a bit of income tied to it. because of I can stream other things, but my viewership is going to be a lot less. So that helps me like run it long term for sure. I feel like if I'm known for something, it's just like being consistent. Like I haven't had like the fastest movement, and like I guess when I beat Siglemic, I had the fastest movement at the time, but then like Cheese got good, and then we were like trading off world records, and Cheese was like always like a little bit faster. So I'm basically known for just being consistent. So if I have an edge on other people, it's that. And I guess like the fact that I've been playing longer than probably all of the other 120 star runners, like maybe that helps a little bit with nerves. It was really different because like everything was way less optimized. So you in general you went for like much easier strats. There's no Salt Kinless. No one did Suki. Like people didn't really do Zaya cycle. It was kind of cool to like be speedrunning in that era where everything wasn't like super optimized, and the community like wasn't as big. Probably one of my favorite things was like I would often be in a call with Simply and Cheese, and we would all be like running SM64 together, like a ROM hack or something. And these days, like we don't call as often, but that's probably like one of the most memorable things. I really like the Dark Souls games. Like, I don't think I can really pick any specifics. Like, I really like all of them. Elden Ring was great. So, like, the Souls games, really good. I grew up with a lot of Armored Core games, like, mainly on the PlayStation 2. So, some of those games are, like, probably my favorites as well. I really like Fall Guys, but usually only if I'm playing with other people. Used to play a lot of Halo. Like, I don't think that'd be like one of my favorites like these days, but it used to be. And same thing for World of Warcraft. I like don't play it much these days, but that World of Warcraft is pretty much my life before speedrunning. For N64, there's Bomberman Hero, which I actually ran for a very short time. Bomberman 64 and Bomberman Second Attack. Second Attack, I've never played, but Bomberman 64 is the one that I'm known for like running. Like I barely run it these days. It's really funny because I believe it's Awesome Games 2019, and I submitted a solo SM64 run, 120 star, in Bomberman 64. Bomberman makes it in, SM64 doesn't. So they accepted my game that I'm like not as good at and I'm not known for. And some really unfortunate things happened, and I went over the estimate, which is...
Oh, so I just realized that if I die again, then I get a game over.
Oh,
my
no, man.
Kind of cringe at a GDQ event, but it was funny. Like I got like Simply and Artemis on the couch. For Bomberman 64, like the main reason I stopped running it, like at least trying to get PBs, because it was just like it's a short run with a bunch of RNG. But I might return to it at some point and like try to lower my PB, like learn some of the faster stuff, because there's like at the end of Red Mountain 3, there's like a big skip that saves like 10 plus seconds or whatever that I wasn't doing. So I might return to that soon, but it's a decent game to speedrun. I mean, I know right now, like, there's this new game called Only Up, and I was like kind of thinking about it, kind of on the fence of, like, speedrunning it, because, like, I wonder if by the time I get back from Pace, it's going to be, like, the hype is going to be, like, kind of dead. So, like, might not be worth speedrunning. I might play it, like, casually at least. I thought about speedrunning Elden Ring when it was new. I know DLC is coming out, like... Maybe I would think about speedrunning it when like the DLC comes out, but yeah, for the most part, it's kind of hard for me to like kind of like commit to a different game. Like I have some games that it's kind of like on the fence if I'm gonna run it, but nothing like 100%. For the collecting aspect, for sure. I started collecting in I think 2014, which is like that was like a few years before the prices got pretty bad, which is like what they are now. Around COVID is when stuff like, I mean, it's good for me because stuff for the most part went up in value. So once again, I'm kind of on the fence for this, but like just the idea of like selling my video game collection, like I could sell so many things and like profit off of it because stuff just goes up in value. I just thought it was really cool, and that's probably like the main reason I was collecting it. Not really. Like I tried doing like Dark World on a Hori, and it almost looks like I'm just like drunk or something. Like I'm sure it's because I'm just not I haven't adapted to the controller, but I know Cheese is like one of the only like remaining top runners at this point who uses Hori for everything, and I've heard him complain about angles many times, but you know, he's been the world record holder for a long time, so I don't know if it's like really holding himself back, but yeah, I'm pretty much like always going to stick with OEM for this game. I think one of the common issues is that if I'm holding like up notch and then I move slightly right or slightly left, it's kind of like a scratchy feeling. Like I don't know how to like describe it super well. I guess it's like not as smooth. It feels kind of like gritty. That's probably around like one of the worst things that can happen, as well as just like the stick becoming like looser the more you use it, and then the more force you have to use it. I mean, you have to move it to like go all the way, like max speed, all directions. But I started using a steel stick basically like in like November last year, and I'm still using the stick at this pace, and it's still like holding up really well. The main thing that's nice about steel sticks is that they last a lot longer. So I was on OEM for so long, and with OEM, it's like after like 2 to 3 months of a lot of use, the stick is already like feeling pretty different, and you have to use like quite a bit more force to move the stick all the way in all directions. So that's like probably the main reason why I like steel sticks. I spent way too much like on my video game collection. I've definitely spent like over 10K. Like I probably have like over 10K worth of stuff. Maybe it's not 10K at this moment, because like I think it was late 2020 to like early 2021 I sold like a lot of duplicate controllers, and I'm sure I still have a lot that are like in my closet, but I've just like haven't gone around to like searching through my closet yet. My closet is completely filled with boxes, like shipping boxes of like controllers and stuff. But yeah, on video game stuff, I've spent over 10K for sure. I'm kind of surprised that I got into it myself, because like I don't know, I just didn't really think about it as a kid. When I was younger, before metal, I listened to some rap, and I listened to some hardcore punk like Sex Pistols and Dead Kennedys. I mainly listened to Dead Kennedys, and like thinking back, like they have some songs that are like, you know, like pretty fast and aggressive. So I guess it's like it kind of makes sense that's why I went towards metal. Within metal, like my taste for what I like is just I think this is a fairly common thing for people in the metal, where like their tastes, like the stuff they like, they just prefer like over time they prefer like heavier stuff. Like that's definitely happened for me. I guess what I mainly like about it is just how fast and aggressive it sounds. I played guitar like every day for like 3 months. I think I started in like late 2021. I was paying like Squidward for guitar lessons, because they've played guitar off and on for like over 10 years. So they're pretty like good and knowledgeable, like very knowledgeable about it. And I just like randomly stopped. When I was like practicing guitar, it was all like on an acoustic, and then I got a electric guitar for as is like one of my Christmas presents, and I've barely played on it since. But I've thought about like getting back into it, and maybe like being more serious with it. I think the motivation is just hard, and especially when you're new to guitar, it's like kind of rough on your fingers, and that kind of like interacts with speed running, because that can be like a little rough on my left hand, because like if I play a lot, my left hand hurts because I naturally grip the controller hard. So it's like I think I'm kind of afraid of like having to worry about like my fingers being sore and like the actual hand being sore. So I don't know, maybe sometime in the future I'll get back into it. It'd probably be guitar. Like I don't know if I'm really interested in other stuff. The thing about metal, at least the metal I listen to, is that most of it is like very hard to understand, and I don't like read up on lyrics very often. I mean, a lot of it is like just like really edgy stuff, and just like kind of like dark stuff. Like there's I'm sure there's bands with like songs that are about like depression and stuff. And I mean, I've experienced like depression myself. I mean, I feel like pretty much everyone has, so maybe I can relate to it a little bit in that way. But for the most part, not really. Like, I don't think the lyrics are important. It's mainly just like the sound. I think one of the main reasons I started collecting, like, my main collection was, the main stuff I was collecting was video game stuff, and then that went to like metal merch basically. And I think one of the main reasons is because like it's way easier to store, because you can just buy these like storage bins, and then you just like pile the shirts and stuff on top of each other and put them in there, and it's way easier to store. It takes a lot less space. And I definitely have some like more rare stuff. Like I know I have some stuff that's from the 90s, and I definitely have stuff that's like early to mid 2000s. I don't think there's any like very specific pieces that, well, I guess there are that, I mean, there's definitely some that I enjoy more than others just because of like the graphic or whatever. But yeah, I think it's, I pretty much just thought it was cool, and I just started collecting that. That setup was really cursed because for such a long time, like I wanted my computer to be in my own room, and my parents like didn't want that to happen because I think they were like kind of afraid of like they didn't want me they didn't want me to like look at porn and stuff like that, like growing up. And it was very annoying because, you know, I started streaming, and my brother and our computers were like in the same room for a very long time. Like my computer wasn't in my own room until we moved into our house, which was 2015 in October, I believe. And so if he was like I always talk when I'm streaming, and then sometimes he would like be in a call with someone just talking about random stuff, and you know, I'd have to like listen to that while doing runs, and he'd have to listen to me. And luckily that situation changed because like I'm in my own room now. But as for what he was doing, I think just basically watching random streams for the most part, and like playing random games. And he used to speedrun like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, I believe. And he used to speedrun Kirby's Crystal Shards, but he doesn't really speedrun anymore. Now he mainly plays that Final Fantasy MMORPG. I think it's like 14. That might be wrong. I see him play that all the time. I think he's pretty much doing like the same thing compared to back then. As for family life, I mean, it has some ups and downs. Like there's like some drama every once in a while. I think recently like things have been fine. For favorites, I'd probably go with like Mushoku Tensei, which season 2 is actually like just started airing, I believe. So I'm definitely going to be watching that. Fooly Cooly, Dokuro-chan, Cowboy Bebop, those are all really good. God, it's so hard to come up with like a lot more specifics. I like Princess Connect. I don't know if I'd call that one of my favorites, but I thought it was pretty good. Well, I think for Fooly Cooley specifically, like the main thing that there kind of seems to be a pattern, but the main thing I like about that is like how crazy and like wild and chaotic it is, and it's like, you know, I kind of like Mario for that reason, and like Metal for that reason. So that was like one of my favorite anime, and it's like it really is crazy. Like it sucks that it's only 6 episodes, but I guess for Fully Cooley it's that. I think what I like about Cowboy Bebop is that like every character pretty much has like a backstory, and there's like episodes around it, so it's pretty cool to like just look into like the histories of the characters. And Dogoro-chan doesn't have much of a story. That anime is just like really stupid and cursed. That's pretty much why I like that one. I don't know. It was probably like one of my viewers being weird, or like maybe Cryptic started it, because like Cryptic and Wycon are like, they make the most jokes about that stuff, and like me, of course, but I don't know exactly where it started. Like I think I remember it being like a thing in a Shift stream. Like maybe it started there and then it went to my stream. I don't know. It started like a long time ago, so I can't really like remember the specifics, but it might be for the best because it's just like cursed. I don't think so. Like I'm not sure I really got my humor from anyone specifically. Like I guess I'm pretty sure I do say some things that I basically like got from Simply. Like when someone gives me bits, for example, I just say like, "Thanks for the bits, bitch." I definitely got that from Simply. But yeah, probably some stuff from Simply, and like some stuff that just came to me naturally. I mean, like technically, I guess. I mean, I am trying to get a PB, and it's like I don't know if I'm world record capable right now, but like maybe I could consider what I've been doing like a world record grind technically. I mean, it's just the game, and like especially grinding for world record is just like insanely difficult. It's just getting like more and more difficult as things get more optimized. And I think in my current situation, like I probably have to pick up some more optimizations, because like the world record is just that good. Like the world record can be improved by like 30 plus seconds, but you know, that's been true for like a while and no one has done it, which just shows like how hard the run is. But yeah, basically the world record grind is just, it's a long journey. It's really difficult. I'm pretty sure I've thought about this before. Like I know Liam entered Bowser in the Sky with 1:37.07 best possible time, I believe, and I think right now I definitely like would not be able to beat that. I have to like I probably have to like overhaul my movement. Just I have to update many things, probably just like go through every stage, just update things in like every stage or something like that. Because I mean, some people think that Sum of Best doesn't mean too much, but like Liam's Sum of Best, like his Sum of Best and everyone else's is a pretty big gap. So especially compared to mine, so I think like he definitely goes quite a bit faster, which is why he can like potentially get a time that I couldn't right now. But if a time like that was achieved like soon, like I think I would just continue what I'm doing, just like probably focus on my own time. Like I know right now I definitely want a 1:37. I think there's some people who like aren't getting as many viewers, but I don't know. It's probably like mostly the same, I guess. Like as I mentioned before, there's like a lot of top runners who are usually grinding like at all times, and I mean the community's definitely not dead. It's still pretty active, still like a really popular game. Yeah, I think it's doing well. Like I don't think it's really like dying necessarily. I mean, right now I want a 1:37. After that, I'm either just like maybe after 1:37 that's when I'm gonna start updating a lot of things. Maybe I'll do 70 star and like try to get a 46. So I feel like I can see myself getting a 1:37 and a 46. Like at least get those before like I potentially quit. as for life and streaming, streaming is like scary because it's always like questionable long term because you know a lot of people are known for playing one game and it's especially bad for speedrunners. So like I think if I did speedruns of a different game and it had like decent popularity and especially if it got to like a high level, I could probably have like maybe around the same viewership. But when it comes to like income, I mean that's hard. It's like pretty hard to like organically like grow your stream and like subs and stuff. So I feel like long term, what's probably best for me is, well, I've had two big goals, which is like gain my GED and like learn how to drive. I GED because like my homeschooling was like kind of messed up, so there's no like high school diploma or anything. So you know, getting that would help with my options for like normal jobs. So I guess like long term, like it'd be like a decent start for me to get some like normal job and also stream, because you know the normal job would be like more like guaranteed decent income instead of just like relying purely on streaming. But I don't know, maybe there's like a chance that my stream is like gonna grow a lot, but you know that stuff is like pretty random. So well, I'll just have to see, I guess.
Just a slight right. 1 frame too late on the throw. Hopefully can do it pretty quickly, can recover. I think that is going to kill the 138, but 139, first place still on the table. 2 for Puncay.
One more throw.
I think that's 3. 3!
Let's go! And with that in place, ladies and gentlemen, the leaderboard has once again changed. Puncayshun will be seeing out that run with a 1:39.09. Woo!
All right, it's a 137. Finally, dude. This is a run where I wasted like 5 seconds, by the way, because I literally plugged my controller into the... Yeah, that would have been a 137 4X if I didn't do that stupid shit.